I'm not sure what you own, but this here is on the mark. Like a spiral from a 5-star recruit, we throwing darts, really focused. WD-40 couldn't stop the way we grinded. In the trenches, putting that work in, I relate to all my linemen. This is for the men, the boys do not belong here. Tiptoeing to the top, we doing cone drills. The hottest show in the world, you don't even gotta search. Steady putting in work, you see the sweat up on my shirt. They wasn't aware of us at first, we wasn't on their radar. Now every play that we make, they gon' say, oh, similar to a razor blade, we gon' stay sharp. The news ain't official if it's not on the mark.
What it do is Wednesday, you know we up here at the On Your Mark show, powered and sponsored by Epic Sports Apparel. Every player compete live from the Fishbowl Radio Network. It's Wednesday, it's up August, man. It's a heater out there. I was telling somebody the other day, man, it seemed like I was driving. I went to Oklahoma this weekend. I was driving, and as I was driving from place to place, it seemed like the temperature on the car just got hotter and hotter. It started at 98, ended up 104, 105. It's kind of like you press on the accelerator and it got hotter. Man, hope everybody's hydrating. Scrimmage time. High school, middle school, just football is here, period, man. You know what I'm saying? This will be the last weekend, and we'll have football every weekend until February, man. It's going down. You know, that's our bag here at the On Your Mark show. Got a special guest today in the house, my guy Trey Robinson from Savant Athletics. We're going to talk to him and more today. Appreciate you tapping in and joining us, man. Put in the comments where you're watching from today, man. Like and share this episode. Of course, you know we're powered by Epic Sports Apparel. Shout out to my guy, Coach Jay, in the building as well. Man, on the road. Sincere condolences to the Johnson family, man. He's had a death in the family. He'll be back soon, man. But that's my guy. That's family. Always keeping it, real and keeping it 100. He's part of the On Your Mark show and the Epic Sports Apparel family. Got to kick him a shout out real quick before we get started. But to business, my guy Trey Robinson in the building. This is a guy I've been probably talking to and communicating with on social media with his kids, exposure-wise. You know, and the things that we do in the scouting realm and, on a football field, training-wise and things like that for probably about 2 or 3 years, man. And he's been one of those guys here in the DFW area that's been helping athletes get that exposure piece, training and et cetera. We're going to talk to my guy, man. Coach, appreciate you coming in, man.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me, Coach. It's a pleasure. Appreciate the opportunity, man, and I'm loving what you're doing.
Absolutely, man. Well, we appreciate you coming through. So, always with coaches and guests especially, go back to how you got to where you are, where you play ball at collegiately, and just how you got into what you're doing.
Yeah, man. So, just a quick rundown on who I am. Again, I'm Trey Robinson, born and raised in Louisville, Kentucky. Moved out to Texas in 2020, right before COVID hit. I didn't play collegiate football, but growing up playing Little League, went to played all the way through high school, played 3 years at Eastern High School in Louisville, Kentucky, ended up graduating from Ballard High School my senior year. So I played up until my junior year, got an injury, got a pretty bad concussion, just thought it was time to put the cleats up, man, to be honest. So, and really just focus on academics. So yeah, growing up in Louisville, man, it's a very, very small town, but a lot of kids have big dreams down there, man, and really, it's not a lot of resources down there for athletes to seek the exposure to get to the next level, and playing football with some guys that I know could have played at the next level, but again, just the lack of resources and exposure really held a lot of athletes back in my city where I'm from. And the reason why I do what I do with Savant Athletics, man, is to highlight kids that maybe don't have the exposure or have the resources to be seen by a scout or a college coach. That's really my why, because like I said, I saw a lot of tough guys that I played in high school with. Again, lack of resources held them guys back.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit of how Savant came about, how you came up with it, your core values, things that you guys really, sell it to kids to get involved, and then we'll get to kind of what you guys do with them later.
Yeah, good question, Mark. Started back in 2020, so I had the opportunity to work at a performance facility in McKinney, Texas.
Okay.
Known as Michael Johnson Performance.
Absolutely.
Or MJP.
Yes, sir.
Got accepted an internship there back in 2020. So that was really my first opportunity to, grasp the vision of what I want to do in the sports industry with training and just all the stuff that goes on with athlete training and sports in general. So I was an intern at MJP for 3 months. I got to watch current NFL players such as Jerry Jeudy, Trayvon Diggs, Mekhi Becton, Kevin Dotson, and Kendall Vilder, to name a few. I got to see those guys really. I got to see the background of what it looks like to become NFL guy. So they were training for that draft, 2020 draft, and seeing all the data analytics that went into the day-to-day and the training. So that really gave me the vision to wanna jump into training for high school athletes.
Right.
So that's really where I got my vision from, and I took that knowledge and just took a leap of faith, man. My brother-in-law Nick Clark, he is my first athlete, and really I just leveraged relationships, helping some of his friends out.
Absolutely.
And we just built Savant Athletics, man.
Absolutely.
And to answer your question,
yeah.
So Savant, is a representation of an individual's distinctive craft.
Love it.
And that distinctive craft makes them who they are.
Absolutely.
Through their hustle, skill, and knowledge. So, for example, I would say my distinctive craft that makes me a savant is the way I connect with people.
Right.
I feel like I can walk into any room and connect with people despite who you are, your differences, your background. So that's really what a savant represents.
Right.
And mastering your craft, man. And that's really where Savant Athletics came from. Is just the reason to master your craft and the reason behind it, so that you are able to just be a role model and just be someone that can be a community leader. And that's what I look to continue to do in my profession.
So now you mentioned MJP performance. Michael Johnson was that whole thing was a pillar in the community for a number of years. You get a chance to see up close and personal, kind of what it looks like to be a professional.
Correct.
Those are some of the things that a lot of times athletes and people on the outside really don't have a chance to really delve into unless you're in that particular realm.
100%.
How do you try to get that? How did that shape what you do, and how do you get that over to high school athletes? Because some of the athletes don't have that particular exposure to a high level competitive environment or high level training at a certain time. Not everybody has that exposure. With you being able to be an intern, how did that shape what you're seeing? And then how do you get that across to those kids when they come in? Because, when you see those type of things, you know what pro looks like.
Right.
You know what high-level Division I looks like. Everybody's aspirations is they want to play on Saturdays in front of the Texases, the Alabamas. That's not the case for everyone.
Not the case for everybody.
You know what I'm saying? And you have to know, this is a whole nother subject, and I'm kind of twisting it a little bit, but these are the type of things that we talk about on your Mark Show week to week. We want to educate and elevate, first of all, the parents and families, because if they're not educated and they're not don't have the information to go out and know how to be recruited, then they can't get recruited. It makes it more difficult, challenging, unless you just, I call it wake up out of bed with stuff. Still, at the same time, you still have to work at it. But long story short, how did being in that experience, in that environment, shape the way that you go out and train these guys now? Because you have to be, even as a trainer, you have to step your game up.
For sure.
You know, you have to push your training and your coaching to another level to be on the master level of the athlete that you're training.
Yeah, great question, Mark. I would say just realizing the professionalism that comes into those type of facilities and what it takes to be a pro. Seeing the guys showing up 30 minutes before the workout, the communication between the athlete and the trainer, between the athlete and the agent. So really professionalism is something that I kind of wanted to shape Savant Athletics around. Again, communication, seeing what's their expectations.
Yeah.
Are they wanting to just, play for the name, popularity, or are these guys really wanting to play to become a collegiate football player or professional?
Right.
So that's one aspect. I would say really just the commitment level as well. Seeing how hard those guys was committed to their daily schedule, whether that was watching film, recovery, just the daily training, and one last aspect really is just knowing who you are as a person and how you market yourself as an athlete. I tell a lot of my guys, you represent yourself first and foremost. You represent your family as well. So first impressions, everything, and how you carry yourself is gonna tell a lot about a person. So those three aspects right there is really key for Savant Athletics, and I just think everything else will fall into place because the brand marketing that's good, but performance matters too. So work ethic, showing up on time, communication is all critical in the recruiting process, and just trying to be a pro or a master at your craft.
Right. I think you have to be special at something. Is kind of what we call it in the recruiting realm, as far as whatever position specific or first of all, measurables do count. Now you do have to have something measurable wise. I mean, it's key information is it's online. You know what I'm saying? For Division I or Power 4, you know what I'm saying? There's a height weight requirement for a guard. There's a height weight requirement for a tackle, quarterback, running back. You know what I'm saying? Skill positions, you have to have those fat times in the track realm.
Speed.
College coaches look at that because you can't coach speed. You know what I'm saying? That's something that you either have or you don't.
Right.
But the exposure piece is the latter part of it, and it's very important now. You mentioned COVID and things like that, but post-COVID or during the time of COVID, colleges couldn't get kids on campus. Things were shut down. The way that they got recruited in that particular time was on Twitter, or on social media. You know what I mean? And being able to post your highlights and post your film. The way you arrange your film and things like that is super important because college coaches, you got a small window to look at this film. You know what I'm saying? I talk to college coaches all the time about this, and high school coaches, and we share this information on the show week to week. Your film has to be arranged in a certain way. You know what I'm saying? You got to catch people's eye. You know what I'm saying? It's just like when you're going out to buy a car. You know what I'm saying? You want the car, the accessories to look pretty. You want it to be a certain way. Do you have power windows or power steering?
Yeah.
All of that goes into you being a attractive prospect.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? And those are the type of things that we try to get across each week. But the big thing now is specializing, like you said. You know what I'm saying? Talk about some of the things that you try to do, because you work with more than one position. You're not just position specific, but you work on several things.
Yeah.
When you're approaching an athlete. So let's just say that they're coming to you for the first time, a young athlete. What are some of the things that you want to look at to try to help and get his program together? Because it's designed for each athlete is specific.
Right. Yeah. So, like you said, measurables matter. So really I try to base it off their skill and measurables. I'm real big into the sports performance key key factors: speed, power, agility, and mobility. So those are my four that I lock in on, depending on the athlete, their size, their grade, and really, man, the competition, because the competition in Texas is different. So it's different coming from Kentucky. It's a whole different ball game, man, and the expectation just coming from Kentucky. There was not really an expectation for athletes to make it to the next level. When I got here, it's just there's no other way around it. There is an expectation that 1 to 2 kids on at least on a high school team should be expected to play collegiate ball. But yeah, really focusing on speed, agility, mobility, and power. And I just want to touch bases on give my guy Obi Udom a huge shout out. He's currently finishing up fall camp at Arkansas State.
Absolutely.
He's a freshman, so he played at Frisco Heritage in 2023.
Yeah.
So me and him, we started training the summer going into his senior year. He had never had any specialized trainings, pretty raw talent. Was unranked, did not have any offers. Going into his senior year, we trained all off season that summer.
Yeah.
The result was rated a 3-star prospect by 247 Sports. Got a full ride to Arkansas State. And again, those 4 key factors that we locked in on: speed, agility, mobility, and power, it paid off. So I just wanted to give him a shout out. That's my guy.
Absolutely.
And his work ethic is unmatched. He had the mentality. And again, I put that expectation on him because I knew what he was worth, and I knew what I could do to instill in him to get to the next level.
Absolutely. And that was one of the kids that you kind of made sure that, I put eyes on him early too as well. When you first start coming around. And I think that's a product of the work in progress, because you were right. He was under the radar at the beginning.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? But he also had some measurables that go into it in his frame. 6'2", between 220, something like that.
Basketball player as well.
Hoop, other things, other sports.
Other sports.
You know what I'm
key.
saying? How important is that? Because that's what listen.
Yeah.
That's what college recruiters are looking at. You can't just be a one-trick pony.
No,
you know what I'm saying? Unless you just so freaking
just
off the table, off the charts, or whatever you do. But his athleticism, he's an edge guy. But his frame, and then you mentioned the work ethic. Now the first time you got with him, he didn't have all of these things.
He did not. He had the work ethic.
But he didn't have the football.
He didn't have the football because he was raw talent.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Speaking on that point you brought up about being a multi-sport athlete, it's critical. I know when I was growing up, you didn't have any other choice but to play multiple sports. That's just how we grew up. So, and then as you got older, you would kind of dial it down to at least 2 sports.
Right.
But track is huge. I advise all skill guys to run track if you plan on playing at the next level.
For sure.
And even it's some type of track and field event.
Right.
I know a few guys that's definitely got recruited due to just track and field.
Absolutely.
And they've able to hop on that opportunity to get that college degree and be a collegiate athlete.
No doubt.
Basketball, I would say basketball improves your agility, lateral movement, and basketball I also think it improves your instinctiveness. It's a very fast-paced, reactive type of game. So anytime you can be able to put on a jersey and play 5-on-5 or even just play for your school team.
For sure.
That would be good.
Well, there's a lot of fundamental things that go into it. The footwork,
right?
The quickness laterally, You know, and then the explosiveness that you got to get up quick when it comes to getting a rebound.
Yeah.
You know, those guys that got that explosive bounce to where they can get up real quick.
Yeah.
You know, being on a basketball court, and you can, I always say I can feel it when a guy can, it's not hurting. You feel it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know what I'm saying? And you can feel it when they get up and, dunk their thing. You know what I'm saying? It's just something that intricate that they already have. You know what I'm saying?
I've been to a lot of AAU. So I'm a big basketball guy, too. I'm sure a lot of you guys see me on the baselines of the AAU games and high school games.
Right.
It's a lot of multi-sport athlete dudes that play basketball.
Right.
And just out of curiosity, I'll pull up their huddle. Their explosiveness matches the windmills and dunks they're doing on the court. So all that translates, man. You just have confidence. Really, it comes with your confidence, man. And that's what I want to tell these kids. It comes down to confidence, believing in yourself.
Yeah.
Having courage to do something you haven't done before.
Right.
Whether that's reaching out to a coach with a DM.
Right.
Just little stuff like that goes a long way.
Right.
And that's something I preach to my guys is just being yourself and, having some courage and doing stuff that what's the saying? It's okay with being
comfortable. Yeah,
go
I know
ahead,
where you're
go
going.
ahead,
You gotta be uncomfortable. You gotta be comfortable with getting uncomfortable. Get out your box. Don't just box yourself into one thing.
Yep.
And college recruiters talk about these things all the time, and college coaches, they look for the guy that can do multiple things.
Right.
A lot of times, we get to where, we want to put him at one position, or he's got to be a quarterback, or he's got to be a running back when they're coming out of youth sports. But usually the guys that have played multiple positions, multiple sports, that muscle memory, that twitch is totally different because each one that you play is a different set of muscles. It's a different set of skills. Soccer. I mean, if you look at, you take a guy like Hakeem Olajuwon. He came over from Africa. He hadn't picked up a basketball in his life, but his fundamentals, his feet, footwork was superb, clean.
Crazy.
You couldn't do the dream shaking. Shout out to I'm from H-Town. That's what I'm saying. I brought up Hakeem the Dream because that's my guy. But soccer was his background.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he was able to take that over. He just happened to be a guy that was 7 foot 7'1".
Yeah.
So naturally he grabbed measurables. But the more he came up, he had more skills of a guard because of his footwork.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And all of those things, fundamentally, any sport starts with your feet. Any sport starts with your feet. You have to have the fundamental feet to get up because if you can't dance, it's a lot of times you're not going to be good at what you do. You got to have some movement. You can't be stiff. You know what I'm saying? Man, appreciate everybody that's tapping in, man. Let me know where you're watching from, man. We'll kick a shout out to a few people real quick. Shout out to my guy Jonathan Brooks, JB, for tapping in. My guy J-Mac from the Dub. Listen, check out the Dub, man. It's going to be on tonight. You know what I'm saying? The Dub High School Sports Podcast, big in the DFW area. The season is here. I know they're going to be getting on it tonight. Yeah, man, for sure.
Can't wait.
Sherry Payton, man, for tapping in. My guy Dank Lander, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to him, man. He's got a guy in the 2029 class over Life South Oak Cliff that's going to be a guy, you know what I'm saying, real soon that you'll be knowing about. But, man, appreciate everybody that's been tapping in On Your Mark Show right here on Epic Sports Apparel, sponsored by Epic Sports Apparel right here on the Fishbowl Radio Network. So let's talk about some of the guys that you've been, working with. You mentioned Obi, who's now at Arkansas State, which I think is big. And he was one of the guys that you really got started with, you know what I'm saying, when you got to Texas, you know what I'm saying. And you mentioned, coming from Kentucky. Shout out to my guy Ben Spicer, too. He's from Kentucky. Okay. And he always talks about, the difference in just the talent level. I think Texas is a huge state.
Yeah.
So there's more variety of athlete here, whereas – you mentioned Kentucky and myself and my guy Ben, we have these conversations. It's a less talent pool to pick from, and your top echelon guys usually are just that, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Whereas Texas, you might have a team of these guys, depending on where you are, you know what I mean? But I think it's just one of those things that you have to know that going in.
Yeah.
But let's talk about some of the guys. You mentioned Nick Clark. He's a running back. He's been kind of flying under the radar for a little while. The only reason I know is because I've seen Nick, his tape, seen him played at Frisco Heritage in the past, but now he's at Frisco Emerson. He's a guy that I definitely think is going to make some noise this year. Emerson had a really good team last year with Mikey Hawkins. They still have Malik Hawkins on the team, OU committed at the DB position. So they got some pieces over there. But we'll talk a little bit about team-wise, what you think coming in before we get done. But Nick, I think is a guy that really has a skill set to play at the next level. Now, where that is, that's the big key. But I think he'll be playing on Saturday somewhere. Talk about him and some of the other guys in your program.
Yeah, so Nick, that's family, man. So we came in this thing together, and I expect us to ride off in the sun together. So, man, we started this thing and back in 2022, going into his sophomore year. Okay. And I say we because, again, that's family. That's my brother-in-law.
Right.
So after COVID, after going into that internship with MJP, again, I got the vision, designed it, and made it happen.
For sure.
Like, hey, Nick, varsity football, you have an opportunity to play sophomore year. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. So going into his sophomore year, man, we trained all summer. I would say maybe 3 to 4 days a week, whether that's power training, so strength training, speed, agility, mobility. We train various days. And I would track him. I would use a lot of data to track his performance.
Right.
For example, how many days he's showing up per week, what workouts we're doing each day based on those 3 factors: speed, agility, mobility, and power. Mm-hmm. And he really took it like a champ, man. He's a true winner. His work ethic is unmatched. He has the mentality. He has the support around him, and after that going into that sophomore year, he showed why he was
that guy.
He was that guy, man. Yeah. As a 14-year-old, first year on varsity at Frisco Heritage.
He was first team all district, wasn't he?
Second team all district. I think he could have made that first team, but he made second team all district as a sophomore, as a 14-year-old.
Right.
After that season, Prep Red Zone Texas, shout out to those guys.
No doubt.
They ranked him, pretty sure, the number 15th running back in his class, among some great other running backs, and 18th overall. So that's after his first year varsity as a 14-year-old.
Right.
So, that's 2020. 2023, he moved away. He's back now, back in the city. He's ready to take things over at Frisco Emerson.
Right.
He got way stronger, speeds together. He got. I believe he has his chip on his shoulder because he has a lot to prove to people.
Right.
He's still flying under the radar. Coaches, they're tinkering around with him. You know how coaches, they follow you. You know, maybe give you a DM.
For sure.
I believe he's ready, man. I'm glad he's able to he's able to get with a group of guys at Emerson that a lot of those guys are flying under the radar. So,
absolutely.
He's ready.
Well, I mean, the term flying under the radar doesn't mean that they can't play. It just means that they haven't gotten in front of the right people.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And the only reason I say that is because, that term is thrown around a lot about kids and athletes that are flying under the radar. It may not be that they can't play. It's just that they hadn't been exposed to the right eyes. It's very important who is seeing you, who is watching your tape, and that's where the social media aspect comes in. And, I was telling somebody the other week, every day, if you want to be recruited, there's something that you have to do every day. As a family, as the athlete, as the parents. You should be doing something every day to get in front of these coaches. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's, the camp season was big, now it's over. Now it turns to the focus of what you're going to do on Friday nights. This all kicks off next week in the state of Texas, and that film is so important now. Yeah. Quality film matters. Varsity film matters now. You know what I'm saying? That you can play, as a freshman, it better be some wowing things. But, they want to see you going against varsity athletes, against athletes that they think measure up to athletes that they are going to recruit. You know what I'm saying? And those are the type of things that you have to do to make yourself an attractive prospect. Now, the social media aspect, that's one of the things that I think that sets you apart. You are constantly promoting your guys. You know what I'm saying? Even this week, I've seen several guys that you brought to my attention that I hadn't seen probably in the last 2 weeks. One thing about you is you're heavy on that. You know what I'm saying? You're making sure that you're tagging and putting it in front of the right people.
Right.
Talk about how important that is to exposure.
That's very important, man. If you're an athlete and you claim you want to get to the next level, and you don't have a Twitter. I'm not talking about Instagram.
So stop. Okay.
I'm not talking about Instagram.
Say that again, because I go around the country with this. You know what I'm saying? And when I pull up on you, you don't have a Twitter. I don't know how I can help you. Go ahead. Say that one more time.
If you're an athlete that claims you want to play at the next level and you do not have a Twitter, not Instagram, but if you do not have Twitter, then it's hard for me as a coach, as a media person, or as a scout to really believe that you want to get to the next level.
Absolutely.
And the reason I say that is because that is your portfolio/resume.
Absolutely. Say it loud.
That is your portfolio/resume. And if I can't track you down,
how the coach is gonna find
you. So I'm huge into the social media aspect, man. It's very strategic.
Absolutely.
I look at it from a strategic standpoint, and that's why I believe I'm able to get my guys in front of the right people during the season, in the off season.
Right.
I think very strategic when I post certain stuff, or who I tag, or the reason I'm tagging this person.
Right.
I can't give those jewels away, but trust me, it's very strategic when it comes to social media.
Yeah, well, I mean, you have to have the right eyes on it. You know what I mean? You can post things, but if nobody sees it, it's just out there in limbo. It's just flying around. You have to be strategic in what you do. Like he said, have a plan. And I think your village, the athlete's village, who's around them.
Yes.
Who's
I want to touch up on that
yeah,
too.
absolutely. That's a key point. That's where I'm going with it. I think if you don't have, the right village, you get lost in the sauce as well. The exposure piece, the social media piece is all a part of it. Mm-hmm. And that's the reason, I can pull up a kid's, when we meet and I get their Twitter and I see the amount of followers and the amount of traffic there, I can tell if you're busy on it.
Right. Posts,
yeah. If you got 60 followers and you following 40 people, something ain't right.
Something ain't right.
Talk about it.
Yeah, man. Your circle. So I want to start with your friend group. Your circle matters, man. I'm gonna say it again. Your circle matters, because they sometimes they can really help. They can, either your circle can hurt or help or hurt you. As my mom says, birds of a feather flock together.
No doubt.
So who you hang out with can really paint a picture in people's eyes of who you are as a person. So that's one thing. Know who your circle is, and just be understanding of why people think the way they do about you, because your circle's huge.
Absolutely.
Your family support is huge too, man. That's one thing I appreciate about my in-laws and just the people I know. They're very supportive, and that goes a long way. That goes a long way with the athlete, for sure, because
Absolutely.
Encouragement, motivation, that goes a long way. Because being an athlete in today's age is not easy. It's not easy. You got a lot of kids that believe they should be somewhere due to their popularity or whatever you want to call it, and it's a lot of pressure on athletes nowadays. So being able to have that support around athletes is huge. So I would tell parents, friends, or family, Just check in on your athletes' mental health because that definitely matters.
It's a big key piece
Throughout the week. Kids having injuries and setbacks, all that takes effect on teenagers, man, and even adults. So really, just check up on your athletes, coaches, parents, friends. Just see how they're doing, man. Because again, this age of social media, it can have a negative effect on players, and we want to keep it positive.
Absolutely.
So we can see the best out of these players.
Well, the mental part of it is today in today's athlete, just in the world in general, is something we definitely have to tap in with. We talk about these type of things all the time, every week here, with guests. And you guys are at the forefront of doing that with Savant Athletics on the mentorship part of it. Talk about what you try to do in the community as far as mentorship. I think that's a key point. It's more than about athletics. First of all, it's student athlete. You know what I'm saying? You have to have the grades. If you're not doing it in a classroom within those 4 years, it's most likely that you're not going to do it.
Yeah.
It's cumulative.
Yes,
Cumulative.
sure.
4 years worth of schoolwork to get you to the next level. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't start it doesn't just stop with your freshman year, it doesn't end with your junior year. Your grade point average, what you do in high school in the classroom, is 4 years worth of work. You know what I'm saying? But the mentorship part that Savant Athletics does, just talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, man, you touched up on a perfect point, man, with the grades. And grades matter. Again, student athlete, student first. And really, I just want to, tell the athletes, man, I come from Louisville, Kentucky, small city. I knew so many guys that, again, could have been a collegiate athlete, but grades wasn't good. They didn't take the classroom seriously, or they just took the wrong path, man. And the mentorship with Savant Athletics is really something that I really I feel like I have a perfect purpose for. I really do, because again, seeing the guys that took the wrong path or just didn't take their academics seriously, if I have guys underneath in my camp, in my program, I want to see them do better, right? I want them to learn from my mistakes. Well, not even my mistakes, but from my experiences that I've learned from different people. So mentorship is huge, man. Just want my guys to be really open-minded just about life.
For sure.
Because life is a game, right? You got to know how to play it.
No doubt.
Because you can get tricked into doing the wrong stuff, negative stuff. Again, that's why your circle is huge.
Absolutely.
Who you look up to is huge.
Absolutely.
Who your role model is huge. Who you are influenced by. This generation is easily influenced, man. So that mentorship for me is just having these guys be open-minded to certain things, having them do community outreach. I know Nick and a few of his friends a few summers ago, they went to drop off backpacks to the less fortunate in downtown Dallas. So just having them be exposed to those type of community outreach is something I really believe is huge in a student athlete. Just so that they can realize that it's more than just sports out here. It's life. So that's huge.
Well, you have to be well-rounded.
Well-rounded.
The big thing, even when you're preparing for the next level, and we're speaking from high school to college, those college, you have to get accepted to that.
Right.
You have to be accepted to the college. It's just not about the offer. It's just not about signing dotted line. And a lot of times colleges want to see your resume being, what you do in the community.
Right.
Volunteering. What are you involved in with outside of athletics? That's a key point I think that people don't talk about all the time. Of course, the glitz and glamour is what's done on the field, but being a well-rounded individual shapes you as well. On the field, off the field, they have to be a perfect marriage.
Right.
They have to go together. You know what I'm saying?
So, are you more than an athlete?
Are you more than an athlete?
That's the key in this NIL era.
It's a big piece.
It's a big piece. Are you more than an athlete?
Absolutely.
Can you market yourself positively?
Right.
Can you impact the community as well? So
right.
Be more than an athlete, man. That's what I would tell any athlete. Just be more than an athlete. Show your personality.
Right.
And just be a role model.
Right. Now, before we get out of here, the season is here. We got the last week of scrimmage just wrapping up. Shout out to everybody that's getting it in. It's here next week. Tell me some of the teams you're looking forward to seeing. I know you're up in the Frisco area. You know what I'm saying? I know what's going on out there. But tell me some of the teams that you're looking forward to see this year, and what you think about the high school season coming up as a whole.
Yeah. So I'm excited about the season, man. Last year, I went to multiple games. I was sidelined multiple games, just filming. So being able to see teams like McKinney versus Allen, like on the sideline,
for sure,
their physicality, it's different, man. I tell you, Texas football is different.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for the season, man. A few teams I'm really looking forward to see. Again, I'm in the Frisco area,
for sure.
So I'll be up there majority of the time. Definitely Frisco Emerson.
Absolutely. Shout out to Emerson.
I'm a little biased.
No doubt. No,
there's
nothing wrong with that. If you pay attention to social media, there's a lot of biased people out there.
There's a lot of biased people. So
nothing wrong with that.
Frisco Emerson, the Mavericks, they coming off a great season last year.
I was at that game. Super impressed.
Super
of course,
impressed.
Mikey Hawkins, OU quarterback now, and Malik Hawkins is one of the best cornerbacks in the country. He's committed there.
Mm-hmm.
Had a chance to see them against Sock in their playoff game. Super impressed. That was my first time seeing. Well, I've seen Mikey and Malik for a number of years. On the 707 circuits and when he was at Allen and things like that.
Yeah.
But the Emerson program, I was very impressed. First of all, I love the baby blue. You know what I mean?
It's
so sweet.
It's icy.
Ooh-wee. Yeah, the balls were clean.
It's clean.
They were clean.
They're
But
clean.
listen, I think that they're a program up there. I also Frisco Panther Creek.
Oh, they got a transfer from Lovejoy.
Jalen Lott. 2026.
Yeah.
Athlete. One of the best in the country.
That's what I heard.
That's my guy. Shout out to Jalen Lott.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the best athletes in the country.
Yeah.
They're going to get him. Donovan Webb's another guy over there that they have.
I've been keeping up with him
Absolutely.
a lot. That kid, he's the truth.
College coaches need to get on that now.
Donovan Webb.
He's got a few offers, but I think really this year he's going to, he'll be in the 20 range before the season's over with.
Yeah.
He can play on both sides of the ball. Trickett, the wide receiver for Panther Creek.
Caught a lot of touchdowns last year. He
Deep
threat.
Yeah. He was a guy that was flying under the radar last year, but I think more people know about him. So I think that Frisco Panther Creek has a chance to go to state. That's how good I think they are.
Wow.
They're in the 4A ranks.
4A, okay.
But I think they're talented enough to get there. Now, what they got in the trenches, that's the only thing I'm really not keen on. But they do have some pieces coming back from last year. They were a playoff team last year. But I think, Lott and Webb and those guys Trickett at skill positions, you can put them at any level of football in Texas and they'll be successful.
I agree.
Lone Star is a team over there.
Lone Star powerhouse. Running back is it Davion Gross?
Top in the country. Yes, shout out to my guy Gross. He's been on my radar since he was probably in 8th grade.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think his primary position is receiver now.
He plays both.
Okay.
He plays both.
Okay.
He plays both. He's an athlete.
He's
but
dog.
He's got that frame for the running back
Yeah.
position at the next level, and I think that's probably what coaches see him at.
Okay.
But he's a guy that's really burst on the scene last year. But we're talking about a guy that's probably got over 20 offers as well.
Yeah.
Probably will have more than that. But
2026 class.
Yes,
right?
sir.
2026 class is pretty stacked.
Yeah.
It's pretty stacked. Yeah.
I think I was looking at some film the other day. The Frisco Raccoons got a young 2028 that's coming.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? I can look at his name, but I saw somebody tag me yesterday in some film. Big, powerful back.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Well, Frisco, they known for more of a running style anyway.
Yeah.
Not sure what Wakeland's gonna do this year. They lost a lot from last year.
They did.
But that area is one of the most competitive areas in the DFW area. You know what I'm saying?
Actually, Wakeland, they have a pretty solid wide receiver. He just committed to Toledo.
Treadway. Yes, sir.
He's a deep threat.
He's a dog. Yeah, shout out to my guy, Coach Margin Hooks. I get a chance to see a lot of those guys, and Ryder Treadway is one of those guys. He kind of been flying under the radar, 6'3", maybe about 190, but a guy that can go get it.
Good route runner.
Great route runner.
Yeah.
Long arms, length, and he can go up for the big ball over top. You know what I'm saying? So, shout out to Treadway for the most recent. He did commit to Toledo this week. But, that whole area is loaded with talent, and a lot of times it's so, man, we were speaking about this off camera before the show started. It's such a highly saturated area with so many schools that you kind of don't have a chance to reel in all of that talent because they so spread out with so many schools, whereas you got a bigger school like the Allens or Southlake, it's just a one high school town.
Right.
You got all of those guys at one spot. You know what I'm saying? You mentioned McKinney. I think that they're really, we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. And they play Emerson first game. That should be a
That should be a good game.
That should be a good game. At the Star.
I'm gonna be in the H. I'm going to Sock and North Shore next week. So I gotta go see that.
I respect that.
Yeah, I gotta go see that. I'm pulling up. You know what I mean? And those guys are gonna, it's gonna be a great time down there. I think that McKinney Boyd might be a team to watch up there as well.
McKinney Boyd, They have a pretty good quarterback.
Yes, Nick Waslowski.
Yes.
He's a heck of an athlete.
Yes.
And I think he's a guy that's been flying under the radar as well that I really, really like. A guy that's about 6'3". He can run it as well. All you coaches, you got to pull up the tape on Nick Waslowski, class 2025. I think he is super solid and a heck of a baseball player. A pitcher.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So again, multi-sports. He's a guy.
Athlete.
He's a guy that has some stuff to him.
Yeah.
Some substance.
Good size.
Big arm.
Yeah.
He's a guy that's been flying under the radar, and I think once college coaches really get to see him this year, I think that there's going to be some triggers because he's a guy that can play on Saturdays. He will play on Saturdays. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be the right fit. But Nick Waslowski up in McKinney Boyd is a guy that you need to know. You know what I'm saying? I've really, really been high on Nick for a couple of years, but I think this senior year he's going to really open the doors and show people what he can really do from the quarterback position. And I think this is maybe a year that McKinney Boyd gets to the playoffs.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I like Nick. I like Nick that much. You know what I'm saying? And I think college coaches will start to see that once the film cuts on. But the first 5 games are always important when you come out.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And how you establish yourself. And I think he's going to put up some big numbers and a guy that's really going to, do his thing. We always know the usual suspects, the DeSotos, the Duncanvilles, the Southlakes, the Allens.
Usual suspects.
Yeah. I think Denton Guyer is going to be a really good team. They got a 2027 class that's out of this mind with Kyron Haywood and Zane Rowe. Yeah. Oklahoma committed as a freshman.
Yeah.
He's that guy.
Kevin Sperry's.
Kevin Sperry is
back.
Yes, but there's a guy behind him in Zephyr Cry.
I heard about
2027. He's about to blow. He's already got about maybe 8-9 offers.
Okay.
He's got the measurables, the big arm, and things like that. But he's a guy, that's going to be getting some playing time right up on the Sperry.
Yeah.
But I think Sperry, is that piece of the puzzle that they didn't have last year before Jackson Arnold was there.
I agree.
And I think they're probably 1-2 punch outside of DeSoto. DeSoto with Keldon Ryan and Legend Howe, two quarterbacks on the same team they'll be seeing that time. You know what I mean? So, but I think Sperry's that guy that's going to give them. Caden Cobbs is another guy for Denton Ryan.
Yes.
Denton Guyer that you're going to see play running back, safety, linebacker. Probably maybe he'll play linebacker at the next level. But Guyer's a team. But they got a big one out of the gate against Toledo first game. Yeah. So I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot of things going on. And then I think week 2, the big game is DeSoto and North Crowley. That's going to be a game.
Yeah, I've yet to see North Crowley live. I want to see them live, man.
We got a short time. We about to get out of here. But if you hadn't seen North Crowley, you better pull up. Shout out to my guy, Coach Gates. He's 26-2 in the last 2 years. Chris Jemerson's committed, one of the best quarterbacks in the state, committed to North Texas. They got a guy that you'll see, Daniel Braid, that came in from Abilene Cooper.
Okay.
He's a guy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then they got John Turntide III, 2026, probably the number 1 offensive tackle in the country. Fanuku is committed to Missouri, I believe, on the offensive line. Jonathan Cunningham's a Texas committed linebacker. They loaded. Yes, they lost to Duncanville in the 5th round last year, but I think Coach Gates has been building this thing, and I will probably be at that game for sure. They're loaded.
They're loaded.
Like Yeah. You
gotta see him this year.
You got to pull up on him.
I got
definitely.
To.
Yeah,
I've been hearing about him past couple years.
If you haven't been to a game at Crowley ISD Stadium, you're missing it. It's one of the best stadiums. That DJ that they got, the announcer, I mean, it's great. The whole atmosphere.
Atmosphere is dope.
Yeah, Crowley ISD Stadium is one of those stadiums that's now in the DFW area, probably the state of Texas that you want to be in.
Okay,
you know
all right, Crowley. Savant Athletics.
Yeah, man, pull up, man. Well, listen, we appreciate you joining us today. Again, this is the On Your Mark Show, powered and sponsored by Epic Sports Apparel. Every play I compete. Coach, real quick, give out the social medias where everybody can find you.
Yeah, Savant Athletics, SAVANT Athletics. Savant Athletics. That's Twitter and Instagram. Also, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll be having a lot of game recaps from this upcoming high school football season. So, again, Savant Athletics, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. I'm Trey Robinson.
Absolutely. Shout out to my guy, Coach Trey Robinson, Savant Athletics, for stopping through today. And listen, Sunday, Elite U University, shout out to my guys, Coach Mook and Coach Ryan, man. We're hosting the first annual On the Mark Sports Media Day. It's going down this Sunday. You'll start to see things come out from that. Shout out to my guy, Creative Jones. I'm partnering with him and bringing this Media Day. Friday Night Glory will be there. Hammer Media will be in the building. Some of the top coaches and players in the DFW will be there. And some of the best guys in the media. We're going to have a little roundtable discussion, man. It's going down this Sunday at Elite U University, man. The invites have already been established, man. It's going down, man. We're going to hit our mark Sunday. First annual On the Mark Sports Media Day, Sunday, man. It's going down. Be there, man. Shout out to my guy, Coach Jay from Epic Sports Apparel in the building. That's our sponsor of the show, as you can see. We'll be back next week. My guy, Maynard Mike's going to take us out. Shout out to my guy, Scott Rapp, on the visuals. We out.
Hey, this Manna Mike. I'm not sure what you own, but this here is on the mark. Like a spiral from a 5-star recruit, we throwing darts, really focused. WD-40 couldn't stop the way we grinded. In the trenches, putting that work in, I relate to all my linemen. This is for the men, the boys do not belong here. Tiptoeing to the top, we doing cone drills. The hottest show in the world, you don't even gotta search. Steady putting in work, you see the sweat up on my shirt. They wasn't aware of us at first, we wasn't on their radar. Now every play that we make, they gon' say, oh, similar to a razor blade, we gon' stay sharp. The news ain't official if it's not on the mark.